The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Negros Occidental Governor Eugenio Jose Lexon, Negros Occidental Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer, Bacolod City Mayor Evilio Leonardia, Bacolod City Vice Mayor Elcid Familiaran, Bacolod Congressman Greg Gasataya, and Grace Pharmacy.
Hi everyone, I'm Paolo Tiongco and this is my partner, my lifelong partner.
I'm Geraldine Tiongco and we're going to be your host for today's episode of the DNX second year anniversary special. Wow, it's been a while.
Yes, subong Geraldine, interviewon nato naman ang mga nag-interview sa aton last time.
Kita naman subong.
That's right. And ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our very special guest, ang mga tao behind DNX, kung nga ara ang DNX. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. and Mrs. Julius and Hannah Mariveles.
Grabe, do kasal. Do kasal ba na? Mr.
Papasin. Okay.
Oo, na-intriga gid ko ni sa
Yes.
ila, guys. Kaya you know what? They've founded DNX and right now we're gonna know how DNX started and why DNX was formed. All right. Good morning, Sir Julius and Ma'am Hannah.
Good day, Paolo
you.
and
Good day, good
Geraldine.
day. Thank you.
Ladies
Thank you.
first.
Good day, good day. So our first question is, Geraldine.
Okay, so can you tell us more about DNX?
DNX is actually, di ba may baby ka mo?
Yes.
Kami may baby man kami. Amo na baby.
Wow.
So people are asking, may baby ka mo? Of course! Are, natawa. It's a digital news exchange.
Dagko.
Araw mo dagko.
Ara di sila.
Actually, this is really, siguro mas makapaundan siya ni Mr. Julius Mariveles. Tulok man dibi!
Shy type subong si Sir Julius kay siya
Yes.
interview.
Pwede ka excuse lang.
DNX is,
Gakashock si Sir Julius. But
Wait,
anyway,
wala.
it's actually pet project.
pet project.
Mr. Julius Mariveles.
Sir Julius, go.
Ang iyang conception since 2016. He had a stroke in 2015. He was with of course, storied man ang life ni Sir Julius diri before siya nga nag-leave for Manila in
Do criminal, no?
2013. In 2012, no? In 2012, he was with the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism.
Wow.
But before he's already had decades of experience in various media outlets, specifically radio, no? Nagdako man gid siya si Sir nagdako.
Literal.
Right.
He started in DYAF and then nag-move siya to other radio stations until finally naging news director siya sa DYEZ or Action Radio Bacolod. And then he stopped and then tapos nag-PCIJ siya, which is of course we know it's an elite news organization.
Grabe, do kira kilig.
Wow,
Do ka
nakilig.
Katniel.
Mas sweet na yung nila. Sige ma'am, go ahead.
Sa panda, no? Non-distract ko sa iyo. Dali lang. And then, PCIJ in 2013. And then,
Wala
of
pa ko
course,
nakauba, no?
Karoon lang na. Okay. And, unfortunately, because unfortunately, nagka-stroke siya dito. Okay. It was a massive stroke. So, it was also a major setback because I was the only one na nag-earn at the time. So, balik di siya. And
are siya sa Manila dati?
yeah,
So,
when I was
so how does it feel na layo siya tapos amo pa lang
actually it was I'm not the type being a clingy. Kaya may career ko din nga akon mo. I'm
Right.
with I'm with Lasal as the head sa department man yang sa Bascom. And then I also have my own practice day. So naghambal siya nga may opportunity nga mag-work siya sa Manila. I said, "Oh, all right, go ahead." Hindi ko yung pag-i-clip ang wings mo if it means nga mo nang mag-soar ka. And then there was already offers na from big stations. So he was really at his peak, no, sa Manila. And then the stroke happened. So he was forced to come back here and to recover. And then he started, it was really trying, of course, maginablari ko diya sa Bacolod. And then ato siya sa Manila, yasang na-stroke siya. So the next day, naglilapad, gid ko sa Manila. And I brought him back home. I brought the panda back home.
Beautiful.
Ginano ko siya, ginbalik ba yung box ko siya. And
Brought the bacon home.
And it was really a struggle. Imagine na bala i-anon siya, gina-daily therapy siya, and it was really draining on the
Yung
pockets.
pasaka pa ko sa barko nga sa stairs lang.
Oo.
Ginakwat na ako
Ginakwat
Wow.
ang iyang wheelchair sa barko sa sa 3
Sabi ko,
stories.
patay ko mo.
So,
Grabe.
hindi siya mapatay sa stroke, napatay siya sa huya, nahulog siya sa wheelchair niya. Amo nang fear niya. But anyway, sang ari kami di, at least, I think it was the strong support system from my family, gidya. Nga nagpabdako gid nga bulig, especially yung parents ko. And then, of course,
Oh.
all doors were closed samon at the time. Gapang apply siya. Hindi siya pagbatunon because wala siya college degree. Which is kind of weird because he has had trainings in Singapore,
Wow.
in Thailand, in Malaysia. Mas damo pa ni siya nakaduan nga mga bano, nga mga pungsod sa sakon.
In Villamonte.
In Villamonte, in Candoni,
Mga experiences na.
and Alangilan, hindi. But he has a lot of certificates, a lot of and he was also chosen as the lone delegate for Asian Journalism Institute, no?
Fellowship.
A fellowship in Singapore for 6 months. So amo na siya
Three.
ka-storied. Sorry, 3 months. Amo na siya ka-storied. He is the only lone delegate from the Philippines among hundreds of applicants. So ang ginambal ko ni because people mga pamatanon sa buong dito sila wala na nila nabtan si Panda Bear kung ano siya at this peak, no?
Yeah.
Ako na siya actually nga term of endearment siya. Kaya look at him. He looks like a panda. And sang naminsa kami, why nga akin nahanglan ta magpahigot sa what is traditional employment? I mean, if you want to have your own vision and if you want to have your own, if you want to be unfettered, kag unchained ka, kay he's a visionary, he's a genius na luyag ko sa iyo. Don't ask me kung nagupuhan ko sa iya. Mahal ko lang is naalaman gid ko sa iya, kagbuot gid siya.
Yes.
And he's a genius. Amo lang gid mahambal ko. So that's why he came. DNX is actually his vision. DNX is actually all his.
Wow.
Ako ya, wind beneath his wings lang ko ya.
Support.
Oo, support, oo. And of course, naghambak ko kung whatever man niya yung mabulig ko. Basta, I will get through this until the end. Amo na yung hambal ko sa'yo. Amo na commitment ko.
Kanami. Nakilig.
Kaya Sir Julius, ano mahambal mo?
This time si Sir Julius
Sir
naman
Julius,
ang chance nga maga.
He's the storyteller.
Na story. Yes, go
Actually,
ahead, sir.
Makasugod ko sa muna nga do ang classic lang nga pagsugod. Well, actually, daw mo na nga ako ni sundot.
Sige.
Ang DNX started under a mango tree sa tuod lang. Sagwa sa ngamon balay may coffee shop, ang neighborhood nga kapihan. And then sa danom sang paho, dila ko nagasulat thinking of what to do. Because sa tuod lang sangara ko sa ospital for the first time. The first time na ospital ko, siling sang nanay ko, kuhan ko mo, nag-blue ko. I was about siguro mga 3 to 4 months gindala ko sa ospital. And then the next time nga gindala ko sa ospital was I was 41, having a stroke. And while I was inside the room, a private room actually, sa heart center, ang fear ko was one thing, maka-reporter pa ko after this. Because this is all I know since I was like what? 19? 19, I became a reporter for radio. And then there was no stopping after that, no? Until 41 when I had a stroke. No, may ara lang temporary nga period when I became a full-time activist for 4 years. Pero all the rest, journalism na. So wala kami nabalaan nga iban except this. And then as I've said, I tried applying for positions. And then I was told, hindi ka pwede because you don't have a degree. And I was thinking, journalism is basically a practice and a craft. You don't have to have a degree. A degree is okay. But to practice journalism, to practice storytelling is something that you learn through practice, di ba? May ginambal sila nga sa andragogy of learning. Adults learn by doing. Children learn by being taught. Yeah. But if you if you are an adult, ma-learn ka by doing. So, amo natabo. So, amo na decide namon. Now, make no mistake about it, hindi na siya romantic story. It's for practical reasons also. Siyempre, wala ko obra. So, what do I do? Lalainan ko yung masalig lang ko sa asawa ko. Although, I can do it actually. Mambal ko na stroke ko, mapahungit na lang ko. But, I was not trained to do that. I was not raised to do that. No? All I know is to work since I was 19. Dropped out of school, became a reporter. And since then, ang kabuhi ko was telling stories because I think ang purpose ko is to tell stories. That's why, sang ara ko sa ospital, kulbahan ko, maano ko man, base pag bugtaw ko, hindi na ko kambal, grabe ang fear. But may lang wala. Ha? May lang wala. And pag abot yung ganyan, okay lang na iya. Stroke lang na iya, Julius ko iya.
Amalya, di ko na I was really quite surprised by what I'd seen because ang going ko sa hospital, ginabrief ko sang wife ni Linggaw.
Do ka layo sa ato na.
Ginabrief ko sang gani! Dapat yun! Kami na, padala ka may ginana ko.
Gabi na karon sa mga kontrata, nagbulagay ng tabla na.
Ako na di technique sa ila.
While going to the hospital, ginabrief ko sang wife ni Edlinggaw. Si Miss Esther. Kagadagambat siya, sila ko, what's really the extent of the damage? Siling niya, it's mild daw. But, my but. So I know, basta whatever comes before the but is not good, no? Okay, or after the but is not good. So siling ko, anong but? Siling niya, kasi hana yung sa scale ng ng stroke, there's the mild and then there's the massive. And then there's everything in between. But when I saw him, siling ko hindi giniya mild niya. His face was ashen, gray. Puti siya, di ba? Pero pagkita ko siya, gray ang kuya niya. That means ang wala na yung oxygen niya. Nang-cut off na yung oxygen sa utok niya.
May pagka-Thanos, no?
Sana, doon si Thanos, natsura niya. Oo.
Gray Thanos.
Gray si Thanos, how?
Thanos is purple.
Barney, kagali. Okay. So, and then, because it was a right hemisphere cardiovascular accident, that means yung left side niya is wala na, gagiho. Oo. Though semi-paralyzed na yung piyak. Nag-drop na ni. So his mouth is constantly agape. Slackened ang jaw niya, galaway siya.
Kalain.
Tukatulo. Okay lang na. Tukatulog mo ako pag-alagap, trapo, pro. Hawlaway.
Hindi kayo pagkakita ko sa imo, naglaway naman siya.
Lusot. Namiyan ka.
Pero anyway, pagkakita, sabi ko, nakulba. Pero palibot siya sa mga friends from the media, bla bla.
Yeah.
Mga taga-GFA. Siling ko, ano ni. And then pagkita
Press
sa mga
con.
friends namon, ko press con, nga dabdamo media. And then, galit kay mga friends niya. And then, halagahag na sila sa akin. Siling ko, mapatay na ba na ako?
Ay, oo, no?
Oo, gahag na sila sa akin. Kagahibi sila. Pero siya, nagbase ko sa iya. Tawagin sa kano. Okay lang kuya, shock lang niya si Julius. Kuya, gasler, pero may spirit pa siya magambala. Siling ko, digto ko na sensei, yung hal ko Fights kaya niya.
Ay ka na ginusol nga, nakapamana ka, abnormal.
Shock lang na yan
But he can
tuod
still
yan.
talk, no?
Yeah, actually, that is one thing nga thankful ko because pag left side, kagali, ang imo na nga speech, ang affected. Galing kay right side, ang right brain ang iya nga naapektuhan So ang speech niya is really, he's still coherent. Galing may slurring lang because ang left yang side sang tangya, syempre na-paralyzed man. So hindi siya kahambal mayo. Pero that was really, I think that tested us.
Ang dila, no? Kung hindi mo mag-ihulag ang dila, daw problema, no?
May ano sa dila. Kasadya. But anyway, nabalaan.
Baka rated SPG ng episode.
SPG!
Nabalanta na Geraldine ang journey kag ang challenges na face ni Sir Julius kag ni Ma'am Hannah while building
Formal sa inyo.
while establishing ang DNX. But this time we already knew the background of DNX. Let's know naman ano ang meaning gali sang DNX. Is it letters lang? Ano ang DNX?
Do deoxyribonucleic acid.
Ano niya siya? Formula or scientific name?
Di ba, subong when you say branding, the shorter, the better.
Yes.
Daw, dili lang tayo sa branding, nag-agree nga ang lipot mayo mo.
Right.
Diba?
Okay.
I disagree.
You disagree? What? No. Sige, Sir Julius, go ahead.
Nga, nagkadlaw ka mo, ako. Hindi, for better recall, and then, sining ko do ka millennialist naman bla, ang famous di sa aton, may moon kag star gid permi mo.
Right.
Ang ngalan ka newspaper, di ba? Or may post, or may ara sang street, or may ara journal. So, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, Visayan Daily Star, Sun Star, di ba? So, nag-think ko, lain naman abe. So, I thought of a digital news exchange. And ang iyang motto is, journalism in digital ink. Because kapati kong storytelling is never lost. It can never be lost. It will transform. That's why journalism in digital ink. Because before ang ginagamit na tinta mo.
Right.
So when we're using pixels, whatever, pixels and digital bytes and megabytes
Right.
to tell stories. So that's why digital siya, first of all. News and exchange, because it refers to the interaction of various storytellers. Ang reporter subong cannot do storytelling on his or her own. Mas na, diri. We have videographers, we have cameramen, we have graphic designers, we have data specialists. Ako ya classic kami. We love the written word, first of all. Sulat gid yang amon nga discipline. Ako, nag-start ko broadcast So, radyo, and then, I was trained to write. I never had a degree. Ako, I'm proud of that. Pero storytelling and journalism is actually something that you develop by practicing. And you can never be a journalist if you don't love journalism in the first place. Diba? How can you develop something na wala?
Correct.
In the same way, do para sa mga blagugma, how can you develop love when it's not there?
Right.
Diba? Mambal ka, plangga ko ning kwanyo, matunaan ko lang na. Nga mahigugma ko ni siya. Diba? Pero pagkabugta, testing bla, pagbugtaw mo, kung asawahay na ka mo, anong test nga plangga mo gid asawa mo? Abi, wala siya make-up, gating karag buhok ya, pagbugtaw mo, stupad mo, galaway siya. Oh, every day amo nang gakatabo.
Amo nang
Yes, yes.
gakatabo si mo.
That's reality, di ba?
Right.
Now, you tell me after 2 weeks kung palangga mo pang asawa mo. Diba? So, I think journalism is like that. It can never be developed if there is no love for it.
Wow.
Tama na siya.
Amazing.
I
Grabe.
thank you.
Kanami gali sang meaning sang
Well,
DNX, no?
yes.
Peace.
We're very very passionate sila about what they're doing with their craft, and we already know what is DNX this time.
I would like to ask, where do you see DNX 10 years from now?
Oh, we're going to have our own island.
Wow.
Ang iba nagabal. Mayroon kami building, mayroon kami sa ako niya island. Hindi.
Island.
I think kami we will be ruling our own nation, Guruyos, no.
I think
No, I think
ma-achieve na naman ang kwan. Ma-achieve ka na ang world domination by that time. Ha? Ma-dominate ang world.
No, well,
Grabe pag hindi
Island.
actually, to answer that, mag 10 years siguro, and siguro lang tama, very practical ko ilang taon ko kung anong pattern subong, no. There was the it's a good thing that we had a head start before the pandemic. We started at August 19, 2019. That's 6 months before the pandemic struck.
Yabi.
Right? So, inablang, hala, kapasaka na siya. And then, gulpi lang na utod. Pero, instead of taking that the pandemic as a setback, we decided to, let's make the pandemic as a platform for us to tell stories about it. So, we gained a bit of traction there, no? We started telling stories about frontliners, about the virus itself, about anong efforts ng local government, national government, pati dire information dissemination. So dira kami nag-focus, and the pandemic, of course, apektado man kami during the pandemic. But I think 10 years from now, if magsigi-sige lang and with the right people, I think we have the right people right now. Okay, we really have I can honestly say that this is the best team that I've had. We have several waves, groups nga nag-agi sa DNX, pero I think this one is the best so far. Hambal ko so far because I'm sure that the team will improve in time. And in 10 years, you're asking us, where do we see DNX? Still telling the same stories, still serving the people, pero siguro wider lang ang scope, but the passion is still there. And hindi gini madampen, because for as long as this guy here is alive, DNX will still keep on churning out stories.
Kada ko sa requirements, dapat buhiid ko galing.
Number one yun na, sir.
Kailangan mo i-commit. That's why I have to keep you healthy and happy.
Yes.
Happy. Tapat gini sa karon sa gabi.
Alright.
Especially in bed. Okay, wala siguro minors.
Well, for practical reasons, syempre, 10 years from now, you have to be financially viable. That's one, no?
Correct.
Kaya ang business model ni is commercial eh. We don't rely on grants. We don't rely on government aid. That's why what gets me sometimes is iniya survival gini in the province eh. You are on your own, and then you have other media groups lecturing you what to do. Ang ideal journalism is okay, but until you test your ethics with the survivability sang imo nga outfit, I don't think that those ethical commands can be put to good use, no? Because you test ethics by, for example, there's an ethical consideration. I'm trying to raise this point because damot debate subong about journalism eh. Nga dapat it should be like this, like that. It's okay. Usually nagaset sina nga trend ang taga Manila. But kita diriya sa provinces, we have our daily survival mode. You have to feed your staff. Diba? Which is more ethical? Not earning or not eating and not giving enough or decent salaries to your staff. Diba? Because while this is my vision, but this does not belong to me anymore. This belongs to 10 other people who work with me to realize what we do every day. And aside from that, it's about 10 families. Ako, I look at my employees and I say, no, hindi ni sila pulo lang. They are 10 families. So, nasiling ko, 10 years from now, what I want to venture into is what we want to venture into are different forms of storytelling. Example, now we are trying to experiment with cinema verite. Cinema verite is a form of documentary filmmaking that tells natural a story, no? So it has never been attempted in Negros Island, or I would dare say in Western Visayas.
Yes.
Never been done. So gusto na mo na-experiment na with the coming elections. So isa na siya. Number 2, virtual reality. Wala pa na di.
Wow. Okay.
But then that's a foresight, no? But most of all, to have a team of competent storytellers. Because for me, and what differentiates journalism from what we see right now, gapati ko journalism is for ugly people mo. Show business for ugly people. Kung laway ka, kung gwapa ka, showbiz ka. Kung laway ka, journalism ka eh. Tilaw ay ko nga daan. Dili lang kuya sa journalism.
Yeah.
Pero what I think is very important is for people to realize nga ang journalism is difficult to commit to.
Yes.
Ang working hours, di grabe mo. I mean, lang tabla, nagkala-stroke ka niko. Diba? So it's notorious for working hours. That's one. And number 2, it takes a degree of commitment. Diba? Sa una sa PCIJ ko, we talk about writing an investigative report and then we say, magsulat ka investigative report, it's like giving birth. Doga bata ka bla? Of course, wala ko na kabalo, kaya wala ko na kaagibusong.
Right.
Si Miss Geraldine would understand the pains
The
of
pain.
childbirth,
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
Pero ako wala. Pero I felt that exactly, that hardship kung gasulat ka investigative report, no? So, I think we have to go back to journalism with the internet making us or breaking us into intellectual ghettos. Diba? May ara sa mga, akuya mo ko ni. May LGBT, may ara man iya nga worker. May ara man siya, akuya hindi ko amo ko niya. So nahimo kita into thought ghettos, no? Damo-damo echo chambers. Nga kung ang imo opinion hindi pareho sa akon, malain ka na
Right.
or kontrata na ka.
True.
I think journalism is what we need for us to come to terms again with the challenges of the world. And for us to understand na may ara-gali common stories among us. No? Ang istorya mo, nga gaamo ka ni, pareho sa akon. Ang problem sa mga social media, we look for differences eh. Ikaw ya piang ka, ako ya hindi ko ya piang, no? Ikaw ya may barikos ka, ako ya wala ko ya barikos. Ikaw ya may alom ka di, ako ya may away ko ya alom, no?
Ikaw ya laki, ako
So we
ya
look for differences. We look for differences, not for the things that bind us. And I think it is only journalism that has the power to do that. And that is why I hope that we can have more journalists. And that I think this is a love story for journalism actually.
The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Former 3rd District Congressman Albi Benitez, Councilor Al Victor Espino, Councilor Wilson Jun Gamboa Jr., Abang Lingkod Congressman Stephen Paduano, and Mr. Ricardo Canotdan.
Amazing. Some more questions, Geraldine.
Since damo kita viewers nga mga like mass communication students, aspiring young journalists, ano man ninyo nga message sa ila or
Oo. Like, if they wanted to be like you guys,
Don't.
and gusto man sa amo nga platform la in the future.
Don't.
This is very challenging, no? As we've heard naman, there's a lot of stuff going on right now when it comes to journalism. And for sure, damo pag gina sila ma-face when it comes to the future version pagid of journalism. Ano pagid ayhan sa ulihi, ano na ang transformation sang or evolution sang journalism. Ano mahambal niya sa ila? What should they be prepared of? Ano ang preparahan nila?
Don't
Gina-joke ko na sila permi, ara ako niya student gali sa in the
Like
live
to
audience.
recognize?
The only live audience we have si Miss Renel Botnande. She is our host for Moda fashion show. Hello Rain. She's one of the students sa ABCom and she can remember the same question permi na Miss, kung gusto ko mag-journalist, ano yung advice kasi mo? Don't. What I'm saying is, if you're not ready to tell stories, if you're not ready to tell counter-narratives, if you're cowed by the world out there, inabalang nakulbaan ka magsaka sa bukid or may judgment ka na nga daan sa commercial sex worker or nakulbaan ka mag-interview sa kay pastor kay milain siya nga narrative parte sa vaccine, don't be a journalist for Christ's sake. Be a social health worker. Be something else. Because kung may ara ka na judgments nga daan, because ako sang una, I was very idealistic. We were. That means the past tense. We were left. More left than left. Extreme left kami. And we have this very idealistic view of what journalism is, that it has to be poverty porn, it has to be telling stories of the poor, the oppressed, the marginalized. That's okay. But the rich also has their story. The rich also has a counter-narrative. We know that the experts in vaccines also has their story. Pero may ara, man tao nga nakulbaan sila yamo. So, hindi to sila pagtagaan platform. Because may ara na tayo judgments ng aton. And ang masubo, because these are mass-com people man, ang iban nga naga-attack sa not really understanding fully siguro kung anong ginamit sang providing platform to people, no? So if you have the love to tell stories all kinds of stories. Okay? And if you have the passion, nga not create stories, but to let others, ikaw ya as journalist, ang role mo ya is to let the people know the story of other people. Unlike sa vlogger nga, it's all about me. Ano ang favorite ko nga food sa Park Inn? Okay, by Radisson. Ano ang favorite food ko sa Ting Tings? It's all about them. It's all about them. But the journalist is about, what's the favorite workout routine of Paolo Tiongco? Diba? Or what's the favorite, ano ang tips nga mahatag ni Geraldine to young mothers? It's about the other person. It's not about me. So, are you ready to tell the stories of other people? Are you ready to tell the stories not just of the marginalized, but also of what people feel? So, kung mag-amo sila, go ahead, keep the fire burning.
Sir Julius?
Ako niya, we are not perfect, di ba? Kung journalist ka, you always have that, there's no certainty. Because, we are supposed to tell stories not only from two sides, but from all sides, no? So that certainty is very difficult to find, no? And as a reporter, you also bear in mind that what you are doing might not be perfect, but you can blame us for a lot of things, but you cannot, I think, question our desire to tell stories, no? Ang ako lang is this, I'm always reminded by what Gertrude Stein said, no, nga, a writer should not give in to the despair by what's happening around us. Grabing negativity on Facebook, on social media. Tanantado mapinatsanay mo. Politika. Kadamo sa mga bagay that divide us. Politika, gender, and what have you nga mga advocacies. May ara ganit tao nga gusto yan, mas naluoy sa bao sang sa tawo, no? That brand of environmentalism. But I will not delve into that. We'd rather focus on things or stories that bring us together. Because I think that is the power of journalism. That is why, for me, ang journalism may power to build nations.
Pwede ka add, sir? Okay. Ang Marxist nga theory, kag frame, is always about conflict. Eh. That's why ang Marxist is called conflict theory. No? It's the rich versus the poor. It's the employer versus the employee. No, it's the slave versus the master ng mentality. Bla. Nga maput ka barriers. Always. It's man versus nature. That's why Julius is saying, why not make journalism a key or a tool to unite all of us? Because we're all in this together. Kung ano man ang matabo sa sininga kalibutan, masink ka or maswim, at the end of the day, kita mo niya kung anong makaluluoy kung ito mo guys. So I know it sounds, it sounds, what do you call this? It sounds too idealistic.
Mm-hmm. And if I may add, may mga gahambal sa atin that we are anti-this, anti-that, no?
Yeah. Yung balta na lang kita.
Anti-LGBT. But we have LGBT friends.
Yes.
Right.
That very beautiful woman right there.
We have coffee with, no? So I don't know. Amo na ganin siling ko.
Yeah.
Everyone can actually second-guess a journalist, subong, no? Mm-hmm. They don't know the pain and the effort that we put into a story. Mm-hmm.
Imunuta na lang kita. Just recently, there are two really big political groups.
Yeah.
Subong, kung i-interviewon mo ang amo sa pihak, ang mareklamo sila. So, duga, maski kami ni Julius, ka-confuse kami, approving, tapon pro-albe. So, sila na yung label sa ako.
Correct.
So, sila na
pero ang duman niya, pro-Geraldine niyo.
Okay. May-ari ka din pro-Geraldine.
We have our two staff yung pro-Geraldine. Sila yan sa likod gani. Anong love team nila ni Paolo man? Podin. Paudin. Okay. So,
Or may next taping pa si Kuano?
There's this effort, constant effort by society to divide us always.
Mm-hmm,
So you're not with us, you're against us. Nga mo na bala. So, we always say nga, instead of talking about differences, why not talk about our similarities? Why not talk about points that can unite us? Sa muna nga, munang akong nga vision, sa akon nga panda bear.
Amazing, amazing. So, ang question dira, Geraldine, ibalik naton sa mga aspirants. Are you up for the challenge? Di ba? Amo na siya, are you up for the challenge to become like them or to be better than them, no? Because that's the challenge.
Yeah,
That's the real
it's a good
challenge,
thing
no?
Na migid kung may ara, pagid better than us.
Right,
We're not
right.
saying we're perfect. I mean, there's
Never.
always room for improvement. We don't even
Yes.
say that we're the best.
Yes, every day
There's
learn
always
ka mo.
somebody who will be better than you.
Ako, I'd like to ask, since we're talking about differences man, as husband and wife, ano ya ang disadvantages naman niya? Disadvantages, like,
Advantages,
because
yes.
Never gid mag-upod ang mag-asawa as editors.
like kami ni Pao, gag-clash ang ideas eh.
Yeah.
Gusto sang isa.
Sige, Sir
I
Julius.
That's
think
true.
mas delineate,
Ma'am,
mas mayuguro kung na-delineate bala. Siyempre may sungguran na ginaya eh.
Yes, yes.
Ano na naguro, plastic ka na naguro,
Oo,
magambag,
kung wala.
aplong.
Oh. It's normal. It's normal.
Normal.
Yeah.
Hindi, ang kung sa showbiz pa, well, actually,
Yeah.
wala naman kaming, misunderstandings.
Yes.
We kind of understand each other naman.
Chindihan na. Tulog kayo pa lang, kabot na.
Ala, ginaya. Ang newsroom is a rough and tumble place.
Yeah.
Amo nang dapat tayo intindihan. But this is a tame newsroom actually. Hindi pa niya para sa una nga, pardon me, pero may buyayag, di puta, buwan man newscast na ta. Una pala. Di nang balita. Amo ginaya. That's the newsroom. It's rough. It's noisy. It looks disorganized, but that is part of the job. No?
Organized chaos.
Organized chaos. Because that is why I think ang aton nga viewers and followers should understand that we take pains to bring you the news. We take pains. Because that is what is expected of us. And we cannot shirk away from that responsibility.
Ako from the point of view siguro, of the wife, no? I think, hindi ko gusto tawgon yung wife ni Julius sa tuod lang. Gusto ko tawgon. Gusto ko tawgon
When
yung
nga
mga
naging
partner.
padalang apelido ko sa
Oo,
iya.
yeah. Amo na nga papasin, kuya sa subong. He says, you're my partner, you're not my wife. Kaya kung magsiling ka nga wife, do ka submissive eh. I don't know.
Okay.
Sige. And I don't call him my husband either. He's my partner.
Yes.
Okay? Kaya that means shared responsibilities. However,
Andaman mo lang
in
karon
the
sa balay.
in the newsroom, there's always somebody. You have to acknowledge the fact that there's somebody who will always have to be the final arbiter.
Ang editor, diktador na emo.
Ang editor.
Okay.
Siya yung executive
Honestly.
editor eh.
Because if you let the so-called democracy run in newsroom, do you think pag ang baldad ng alas 5 magwa ang balita, makagwa? Hindi. And that is why there's always that villain in the newsroom, and that is the editor.
Yeah.
But that is the risk of the editor, especially the editor-in-chief, to bring people news on time, no?
Correct.
In fact, ginakainitan ka, nano ni sayaman, do katikalon niya, but no! That is essential and necessary to a functioning news
So
organization.
Julius is very different when it comes to his friends. He's very generous. He's very gentle.
Wala ko yung tungatang kwarto, ayaw. Wala man
He's
inugatan.
very gentle
Yes.
in bed. Very he's
Oy,
great
bulig,
partner.
do ginihimas yan ako niya.
But really, ang do ka father figure, good man niya siya.
Yes.
Pero you can see a really different side of him when he is running a newsroom. Maski ako kulbaan sa iya. Nga pagkahambalaan, nakuha mo ng ini nga story, oh wait sir, dali lang. And the staff can see that. Pero kung ikaw ang tipo, nga isa lang kasing get say mo hibi ka dayon, you don't deserve to be in a newsroom. Kung inablang huyang ang imo nga constitution,
Sensitive
no. You cannot survive in a newsroom. So we cannot really blame other people who would live in the first few months. Nga hindi sila kaagwanta sa pressure, hindi sila kaagwanta sa buyayaway, toxic para sa ila.
Hindi mo man
The
sila mabasol.
newsroom, hindi mo man sila mabasol, they're very valid, managuro nila nga points, pero at the same time, hindi mo man kami mabasol because excuse me, I don't have to deal with your I don't have to deal with your emotions at the moment because there's a bigger story that we have to put out there, and there's a bigger audience that needs us. So pwede set aside talaga na yung mga pagka-sensitive do ka amo na bala. And again, if hindi ka naanad sa newsroom, that's why nga it's a good thing that it worked sa amo niya nga case, no, kay grabe yung pasensya ko sa kay Julius kag ginabutan ko yang kung gisinggitan niya ko sa newsroom, it's not because nga gusto niya ko singgitan, kag gusto niya ko humiliate, but that's because he understands the responsibility of putting the story out there. So kung magparehos, kung muguro
Or preload na sa kapusay.
May gapusay ka kalatabo.
So, if pareho kamo, like Pao and kamo nga doon ni Geraldine, if pareho kamo nga doon headstrong, I don't think it will work. Diba? I mean, kami, pareho kami nga doon headstrong, gaaway kami.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it always boils down to me thinking, this is not a power play. This is not a power play at all between husband and wife, but between the executive editor kag the managing editor.
Yes.
So, kinanglan mahatag ang gidya distinction. Otherwise, away lang kamo. Nagbulagay na kami guro first 6 months pa lang
Pero ipalayo kita na niya mga tindor, kutsara, kay basta
okay.
magamit.
Zero, kay basta maginapusanay.
Anyway, by the way, pila na kamo katuig?
I
Ano
don't
na kamo
know.
kadugay? Wala.
Wala kami big account sa number of years nga married kami But we
No, actually,
started
nag-celebrate na nagligat 23 years
of togetherness.
Of togetherness.
We started as Sweethearts 1997.
Wow, okay. Wala pa kamo.
And that's where we started counting. Kay hindi na
For us, ang kasal is a,
Yes.
you know, but mas kinakount naman, kung wala kami nagnubyahan, meaning wala kami nagkasal.
Correct.
Diba?
It all goes back to that.
Ganalisay pa kami galing kung sa anong years ang kasal namon kung 2005 or 2005 or 2004.
Okay.
2004.
Because wala kami ganang
Yes,
tao
yes,
sa
yes.
Sina What we did is because when sang nagdubiyanay kami, nagpaminsa kami yang this is going to be a lifetime commitment dayon. Wala na kami
Yes,
nagabag
yes.
nga mangita pa ko
Ilan
ilain.
na in your age that time?
I was he plucked me
He plucked you.
from my childhood.
Mga 21 ka
20
20.
21. Fresh out of college.
Ako, mga pila?
Paresin mo.
Mga
Oo.
20...
You were 22.
22.
23.
So, Manong.
Mas older.
Manong. Ito kasi yung love story, no?
Kuya Julius!
Yeah,
Wala
pala.
ko muna
But
yan.
anyway, just to end the interview, no?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a message to your wife, to your partner, to your husband? Sige, anong message niyo sa isa kag isa?
Kita ay tagalong sa gabi yan.
Okay.
Daman na karon.
Patay ganito karon.
To my panda, just keep the love alive.
Lugay, basis
For Dana, for Nikki, and for me, pati ka. Pero syempre ako gidapat.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Correct na.
And keep the love alive for journalism. Keep telling wonderful stories.
Well, the problem with husbands and wives actually is you don't have to say a lot of things You just have to say thank you, you know what it means, no? So, amo na siya.
It's more on actions na.
Diba?
Relate.
Yes, relate.
Actions and possessions.
Okay. Anyway, madamo gid nga salamat sa liwat, Sir Julius, and
Actually, we have to thank you for gracing us.
all right.
And
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
Jed.
for having us.
Thank you so much.
There we have it, Geraldine.
Yes, we have finally come to an end of our interview. Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you
We're
so
very
much.
grateful, Gid.
And there we have it. And that's for our DNX second anniversary special episode.
The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Chong Tapsilogan and Sizzlers, Bread Bite Bake Shop, Ting Ting's Native Food, ISK Tech, Country Homes and Mr. Vladi Gonzalez, Bacolod Real Estate Development Corporation, and IPM Construction and Development Corporation.